What's up, everybody? Today, I just want to record this really quick little unscripted video to talk about the brand new Thomas toys that got revealed at Toy Fair New York 2025. Basically, last night we got a bunch of images just related to the new Thomas stuff that Mattel's been cooking up recently. And I don't normally do these sorts of like merch reveal videos, but I really wanted to get my thoughts out there because I feel like this is going to be really fun to talk about, and I have a lot of thoughts. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just get right into it. So starting off, back near the end of December, we got this merchandise photo leaked on the one of the Mattel customer service websites, and this was our first look at what I'm calling Trackmaster 4. I've seen other people calling it that. I'm just going to roll with it. But yeah, there's this Thomas, and this really caught everybody off guard and by surprise, which honestly I completely understand. It caught me off guard as well. But honestly, I'm very excited just by the look of this. I like it quite a bit. It's far from perfect, and I think things like the really long coupling and the red switch just look really weird. I don't like the Season 23 details they've added, but those are kind of minor nitpicks to me. Overall, I think Thomas's proportions are all right. I don't like how big the splasher is and how it doesn't line up with the front wheel, but that's kind of a non-issue as well. It kind of has to be that way to work. But yeah, regardless, there's a lot to like here. The proportions are very nice. This is probably one of the better looking Thomas motorized models we've had, just because I love that tall cab, and I love that he's actually got like a molded lamp front and back, and the truck looks all right as well. The chassis especially looks really nice. I like the smaller wheels. I like what I believe are called the brake housings. They just look nice, and I also really like those darker gray couplings as well. That's a nice touch. And this right here is the major reveal of pretty much all of the new engines themselves that Mattel showed off at their Toy Fair booth. So we've got a lot of shelves here to cover, but I'm just going to go from bottom to top, I guess. So the bottom four items here just seem to be the normal 2-packs that we're pretty used to by now. I believe these used to be called the Big Friends packs. But regardless, we have Thomas, Percy, James, and Gordon starting off our lineup. So I already covered Thomas pretty decently. Percy, honestly, looks fantastic. I think Percy's, like, objectively the best one, just looking at him there. I mean, he's got a lot of detail. He's got that stepladder. He's got an actual curved boiler for the first time since, I think, 2013. So that's cause for celebration right there. I mean, they really got Percy's proportions very accurate. And James, I'm going to be honest, I really don't like James. I think he's way too tall. And I also really hate how big his firebox is next to the cab. That is cause for concern for me. However, it's not all bad. I like the front molded wheel he has. I mean, it's kind of like the bare minimum, but at least we have it now, so that's something. We're getting like sort of accurate wheel configurations. The tender looks fine. It's a little bit too stocky, but I mean, honestly, that's kind of a non-issue as well. It's I don't really care that much about how the tenders look. But James himself, I really just hate the boiler and the firebox and the cab. The cab is way too small, firebox is way too big, and the boiler is just so ridiculously tall. And look how big his face is too. I don't like that either. So, yeah, and Gordon isn't really much better. Now, Gordon seems to be mostly, at least kind of retooled from his All Engines Go motorized model, which I hate. That's a terrible model, and it's honestly a really bad representation of Gordon. I mean, once again, the face and smokebox are absolutely ginormous. I don't understand why they're that big. And then the boiler as well is just huge for no reason. And then you have the cab, which is really, really tiny. I don't get it. Like, I don't see why they couldn't have had as accurate proportions as Thomas and Percy do. But, yeah, Gordon, although there are some nicer things about Gordon I like, he's got the smoke box supports, the little blue things next to a smoke box there. He's also got actual pistons that look to be molded on. And I forgot to mention this with Percy as well, but Gordon and Percy also both have painted cylinders, which is a really nice touch. I like that a lot. And I also forgot to mention the side rods earlier. They've been updated, and they look to be the same across all of the models, which I can't really complain about because they look nice. But yeah, that's about it for the regular releases, I guess, for these, at least for these four. However, jumping up immediately to the next row, on the very far right, we have Duck. And yeah, I genuinely cannot believe that Duck is right here, part of the starting lineup for this new range here. Duck looks incredible, and I'm not just saying that because it's Duck and I love Duck, but I mean, look at him. I mean, he's so accurate. Again, this is awesome. I love the darker kind of olive color. He's got the gray running board. Looks really nice. That tall cab like Thomas and Percy do, and yet his tanks aren't too tall, which I like. Just, I'm genuinely super impressed with that. And also, we have a bunch of diecast engines, which I'm actually going to save and talk about after all the motorized stuff. So moving on, Nia is back there as well, and obviously I feel like it makes sense to expect her as part of the starting lineup. I don't really think Mattel is going to abandon Nia. They did abandon Rebecca, although I am expecting them to bring her back. Nia looks honestly good. Like, I'm not a fan of Nia as a character or of her design, but honestly, I mean, I feel like that's still a good representation of what she looks like. She once again has the painted cylinder like Percy and Gordon do. She looks proportionally accurate. I mean, I can't really see her the greatest since, the picture's really small, it's far away. But yeah, she does actually look decent. However, I have to say, aside from Duck, the top two rows are definitely what I'm looking forward to the most. So starting off there on the right is Flying Scotsman. Again, that is a character I would have never, ever expected to get another toy from Mattel. And yet here we are, once again, in the starting lineup. There he is. And realistically, it's probably because they can reuse parts of Gordon for Flying Scotsman, which makes sense. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? But, I mean, still, Scotsman looks great. Love that color. I like the tenders. I think the tenders look really nice. They have good lining. Scotsman's got, like, the same wheel arches as Gordon, although he does have the nameplate up there as well. I do think, though, Scotsman is a little bit jarring because, once again, he is built off of Gordon. Although, honestly, I think he looks better than Gordon, and I don't know why I'm saying this specifically because there's not much of a difference. But I just feel like Scotsman looks better, and I don't know if that's because the tenders look good. I don't know if that's because it's Scotsman, and I think Scotsman's really cool. But he's also got the larger cab roof back there, which I think helps the look a lot. And also, they're kind of hard to make out from this image alone, but he does have the smoke deflectors. He's also got the same positive attributes like the cylinders and the side rods there. They look really nice. But yeah, Scotsman, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people trash on him just because he looks like Gordon, and I understand that viewpoint, and also I just can't really articulate why I like Scotsman as much as I do. But I'm just really happy he's here and included regardless. Now, these last few packs are a little bit confusing to me, but I'm not going to lie, these are really, really fun looking. So I'm going to start here with this Thomas, and it looks like he's got some sort of like dust or something on him. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's meant to be like a working hard Thomas variant or something. The face looks different. I can't tell if that's a different expression or not, but he's also got a white running board, as you can see there by the lamp, which looks awesome, by the way. This is totally unprecedented for Thomas merch to have a white running board, especially in this day and age in the United States. That's crazy to me. And also, he's got two troublesome trucks, and not only do they have really good-looking faces, they also are gray, and that's huge because, I mean, for so long, the troublesome trucks have been these bright, multicolored neon messes, and I've hated them. I've hated that. I do not like it when troublesome trucks aren't gray or brown, and it looks like Mattel's delivered here. They've got the crate loads as well, which look to be two different colors. Very nice. I like this quite a lot. There's pretty much nothing I can complain about here. And moving on to Percy. Percy looks to be the same model, except for the fact, once again, he's got a white running board up there. Now, I've seen people throw around like the word deluxe or like deluxe releases or something akin to that. And I just believe that these three packs are going to be like sort of upgraded models, maybe premium models. I'm not entirely sure. But this is honestly something I can get behind because, I mean, you can still get the normal ones for cheaper, or you can pay a little bit more to have the three-pack, so you get some cool rolling stock, but also these engines have, like, what looks to be a lot more added detail. Percy's pack not only includes a really nice-looking mail car, but also the 25-ton brake van. And that thing first appeared in the show, I believe, in CGI. I think that was in the Miller era, maybe around season 13-ish. But regardless, it's never gotten a toy in like the 15-odd years it's been in the show. And I love brake vans. I think they're super underrepresented in merchandise, and whenever we get a new one, it's honestly a treat. And Trackmaster 2 or 3 barely had any of them. So now to see this one making its not really comeback, but first introduction, I guess, is super exciting. And it's in 2 packs as well, which I love. But as well as the mail car, that looks fantastic. It looks to be a slight retool of the All Engines Go mail car, which on its own looked decent in my opinion. But I did not like that it didn't have a roof, or it had a roof, but it was like a giant hole so you could put like cargo inside of it. That was a dumb gimmick. I didn't like that. And I can't really tell, but it doesn't seem to have that. I think this is just a regular enclosed van, which is exactly what I wanted. But yeah, Percy's pack is great. And Gordon, once again, you can't really see if he has a white running board or not, but I'm assuming he is. And he also has an express coach, which I think is retooled from the All Engines Go Annie and Clarabelle. It's a bit short, but honestly, I mean, it's still better than like anything else we've gotten in the past almost decade, I want to say. Just having new express coach merchandise is really, really nice. And they could also reuse this mold for other coaches. Maybe if we got a Spencer in the line eventually, or Rebecca could come with this, or even a red one. And I think that is really, really nice as well. Also, just to give James a quick mention, he's definitely the least exciting of these 3 packs that we've seen. But he does come with a white tanker, and I want to say, at least I hope, that that's like the same one as the Tomy one, like has a face. I hope that's a troublesome tanker. I genuinely cannot tell if that thing has a face from here or not, but I'm going to assume that it does, and I really, really hope that it does, because that would be great and also lift this pack up quite a bit. And finally, for Nia, she's also pretty exciting. Once again, you cannot tell whether she has a white running board or not just because of the angle, but she does have 2 pieces of rolling stock there as well. She's got a blue slate car, which is interesting. I cannot believe the slate cars, of all things, have survived this long, but yet here we are. And she's got an elephant in there. She's also got the brake van behind that. And this is basically just kind of the same as her 2018 pack. I mean, that's the same elephant. That looks like the same slate car, just on a new chassis. But yeah, I'm still, regardless, excited. It's got the nice brake van. It would have the updated Nia, hopefully. And then, the blue slate car. It's all right. I'll take it. But also, in the middle there, you can see that there's a different Thomas, and that Thomas has a much taller cab. And I'm pretty sure, I think most people have figured out that that is a talking Thomas, because the talking ones generally have like the larger cab areas and different proportions and all that. So, gonna assume that's a talking Thomas. It doesn't look cosmetically different aside from the taller cab that I can tell, but he also does come with Annie and Clarabelle, which is a really nice inclusion. And I gotta say, those look like new toolings, and I like those toolings quite a lot. They look good. And yeah, not a whole lot else to say though, but I'm just very excited to see that. And hopefully, just like the All Engines Go talking ones, this is going to interact with the previous generations of talking stuff. And yeah, I don't know what voice lines it's going to have, though I assume it's going to be Joseph May recording something. It might even be the same reused lines from the 2020 talking models, which I wouldn't really be opposed to. So that's generally my thoughts on the motorized stuff. Gotta say, I am overall really, really pleased with this stuff, although it is still decently flawed. Still they kind of have like the 2022 wooden railway problem, where a lot of the designs don't really feel super coherent. Because I think like Thomas, Percy, Duck, and Nia look good. Scotsman's all right, but he still suffers from the same problem like Gordon and James do. But regardless, overall, I'm still very positive about the future of this line. Hopefully, it lasts and makes a lot of characters. I think Mattel is finally going back to basics with their toys, and I think they're really starting to understand who their target audience is and exactly what they want. And I just hope that with this new design team, that there's just going to be a good philosophy behind it. I hope they know what they're doing. From what it looks like, I think they're pretty well on track to making a good toy range. And yeah, just generally, I like them quite a lot. However, I still need to quickly pivot to the Diecast line. So let's go ahead and talk about those. We also have this Thomas that got revealed, and it was about, I think, halfway through January. And this is definitely interesting, to say the least. I was not expecting anything new diecast related for a while, But regardless, we have this here, and we later learned that this is part of Mattel's 80th anniversary Ruby collection. And basically, Mattel is also having their 80th anniversary this year, just like Thomas is. And this one specifically is for Mattel's 80th anniversary. And they're basically making this Ruby collection line that is a bunch of their biggest IPs with some sort of celebration theme going on. And this Thomas, I want to say this Thomas has sort of a Railway Series inspired face. At least that's what it looks like to me. He's also got a metallic red running board, and he's carrying rubies. So there's a theme here, if you didn't realize, Ruby collection. I like that he's carrying rubies. That's kind of cool. Though I wish they didn't reuse the All Engines Go trucks. That's kind of lame. But regardless, I think Thomas is all right. And this was our first exposure to this new Thomas. And it's definitely a little bit janky, but also I think it's kind of cute and charming. There are some interesting design choices here, but the biggest thing that stick out to me are the side rods. It's very Ertl-esque, and I don't really know how well it works. I feel like we definitely need to see this in person before I can make a better judgment on it. I just really hope they don't stick out too far or, draw too much attention, if you know what I mean. But yeah, regardless, I think the proportions of Thomas are good. At least, the cab is in the right space. He's got a 3D whistle. The funnel and dome are nice and tall. He's even got a lamp down there. But yeah, overall, this Thomas is not perfect. He's got a little bit. He's got a little bit to go. The running board I think juts out a bit too far. The wheels are a little bit too far back. But again, those are pretty minor in all things considered. But yeah, regardless, Thomas looks nice, and I'm happy about this. But I genuinely never thought this would be a range, ever. I had no idea that anything else Diecast Thomas would be arriving, and yet I was proven wrong. So we did get a lot less diecast stuff revealed, but honestly, that's not a huge loss, I feel like. Just, I still assume this is going to be a full line, but we have a few more things to go off of. So starting off there, like I said with Thomas, I think he's pretty nice. But Percy is by far the standout. I think he looks the best just by, looking at him from this one image we have. But he looks great, honestly. I mean, I love the proportions. He's got the nice curved saddle tank once again. Looks really good. I mean, like I said, with the proportions of Thomas, he looks pretty in scale, all things considered. James is okay. He definitely reuses the All Engines Go tender, which is something I did not expect, but also looks really weird knowing what that's from with this new model. Although he does have the same wheel color, so James's wheels are now like a really dark gray like they were in All Engines Go. Although he is a bit more proportional here. Although, once again, I don't know why the funnel is short, but everything else seems to be pretty decent. I like the larger cab. He's got gold side rods, which is really funny. That's on some sort of reference material they used for this. It's definitely weird because then you have the motorized one, which doesn't have the gold side rods. So, once again, there's that lack of cohesion there. Overall, though, I think he looks good. I'm just a little bit off-put by how short the funnel is and also the reuse of the AEG tender. And then there's Henry, who is definitely interesting. I feel like he's a little bit too short to be in proportion with the rest of the range of what we can see so far. The tender is also sort of weird looking. There's no... I don't know. There just feels like there's something missing there. I don't know if it's just too small or what, but regardless, not crazy about that. Henry himself looks all right. I like that he's got the side rods once again. He's even got the front smaller wheel there. Yeah, he's also very tall from what it looks like. I don't know. Henry, I feel like we don't have the best view of yet. There's just that really far away side view. Once we get better product images of this, I definitely might reevaluate my thoughts on that a little bit. But I think he looks okay for the most part, just not particularly my favorite. We also have this little display showing off a couple more celebration items, and this is exciting. So we get a better view of the Ruby Thomas in person and what it looks like, and I like that the Ruby cargo itself, as well as the running board are metallic. They look good together. I like that. We also see the box of the Ruby Collection Thomas, and it looks okay. I feel like it's a little bit too much red, but I mean, it is the Ruby Collection after all, so I guess it makes sense. And then we have the Railway Series Thomas box, and that looks incredible. Like that looks really, really good. I love the colors on that. I love the actual, like, reference image of that Thomas on the box there. You have the 80th anniversary logo. Even the classic 1984 Thomas logo from the show, from season 1, is on that box. They really did their homework with this one. I like that a lot. And we shouldn't expect this to be the box style on all of these, just this one special edition one. But hey, you know what? Looks great. So we don't know if that's going to have a different face or not, but it does have the open window right there from the illustration, and that looks really good. But that's about all I have to say for the diecast stuff. Last, and I'm going to be pretty honest here, least, we have this new Motorized set, and it looks really, really weird. I'm not a fan, I can't lie. But, I mean, it is Vickerstown Station, so having that represented in merchandise nowadays is really nice. I like the turntable. Well, that's pretty neat. We've got that weird little, like, orange tunnel over there that I think is cloth for some reason. Don't know about that one. But then we also have this really weird, like, multicolored track. I don't like the look of that at all, actually. That's pretty gross. I don't like that it uses two different shades of green together, as well as the bright red for one piece of track, and then you have a little bit of gray, but also tan for some reason. It's just too much. This is overload, I think. I don't like the different colored track. I never have. Just looks really weird to me. I'm not a fan, honestly. That looks to be the same, like, Dusty Thomas pattern from the 3-pack with the Troublesome Trucks. I don't know if it's the same. I don't know if that's a prototype thing or not, but it could be. Still not really sure. But regardless, he's also got a longer truck carrying what I think is like one of those barrels there from the barrel loader. Looks really weird, and that's kind of how I just feel about the whole set. I don't know. I'm probably going to skip this one, to be completely honest. I might not. It might look better later on. It might be fun to review. I don't know. I feel like it's too early to make a decision on that. But regardless, the set is definitely interesting. You can see it better in this picture, but I also just wanted to shout out the bridge real quick because I think that's a really nice looking bridge piece. Honestly, I don't know if the set is entirely worth getting just for that, but can't lie, credit where it's due. That's a cool looking bridge. I like that one quite a lot. So, yeah. But other than that, though, the set's just really weird. You can also see down there that set of points doesn't have a switch on it, and I think it's meant to purposely derail Thomas. You can barely make out a little arrow on the track there, and I think that's meant to deter people from sending Thomas down to that barrel loader the wrong way, because if you do, he's going to derail. But yeah, weird set. I don't know what inspired this or what it's based on, but definitely, I don't really have any more words to say to describe this other than, like, interesting or weird. Just, it's very different, I'll say that much, and I don't know if that's a good different or a bad different yet, but I'm leaning towards bad, because I'm seeing a lot here that I am not a fan of. I can't let the video end on a negative note like that, though, because genuinely I am very excited to see where the brand goes from here. Honestly, I kind of hope there isn't a new show. I really just want Mattel to focus their time, money, and budget into making the better toys, especially because they already have 24 seasons of the show that they can redistribute and re-release. That just feels like it makes the most sense to me. I don't think we need a new show if you just rerun the hundreds upon hundreds of episodes you have in syndication. But regardless, the new toys themselves look good for the most part. You know, there are some flaws here and there. They're far from perfect, and I still don't think that they're better than anything we've had previously, at least, like, from more than a decade ago. I think this is better than what we've had a decade ago, but beyond that, probably not. However, this still shows a lot of promise and a lot of growth. I hope Mattel learns from All Engines Go. Genuinely, I want them to do better. I want them to do better for Thomas as a brand, and I really hope that we can just see some more positive change like this. And hopefully this range lives a lot longer and doesn't die instantly like the new Wooden Railway did about 3 years ago now. But yeah, that's everything. Honestly, this video was just fun to sit down and record and just actually get all the thoughts about these that I have out. And yeah, if you've listened for this long, thank you so much for just paying attention, I guess, and just being there, listening to this stuff. Yeah, hopefully this video inspires some more discussion about the brand as a whole and about these new toys. Let me know what you think. I definitely want to hear you guys' opinions in the comments, so sound off. Let me know anything you're curious about, anything you're excited for, what you predict. But yeah, genuinely, that's about it. That's all I have to say. So once again, thank you all for listening. Have a great rest of your day or evening or night or whenever you're watching this. And yeah, That's it for me. Maximility 1516, signing out.